Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Norm Mathers from Enigma Media. Today I have Chris Osterman from Iron Kingdom in the studio. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, doing very well today. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how the band got together?
Yeah, sure. Well, this band Iron Kingdom's been around for a good 10 years now. And before that, we were playing under a different name for a while. Probably another 7 years before that.
Oh,
But
cool.
yeah, yeah. So we've been around for a while, but didn't really take it that seriously until we were like Iron Kingdom, if that makes sense. That was kind of when our gears kind of shifted.
Cool.
Uh, and then that's when we started recording and doing all that kind of stuff and tours and stuff.
Awesome.
But yeah, but so yeah, I mean, originally it was myself, a guitar player that I had met in elementary school, funny enough,
Okay.
and and yeah, and then our bass player as well, who is still in the band. I met him also in I think it was in high school,
Okay.
like grade 8,
Yep.
like that. And then my sister was actually the drummer for a very long time. Um, so she did the first 3 albums, and she was part of founding Iron Kingdom as well. And so was our bass player Leighton.
Okay.
Um, that guitar player that I met in elementary school, he actually was there when we made the name, and he actually recorded the first album too.
Okay.
But right after we recorded the album, he left. He quit. So I think he could tell that where we wanted to go was like it was going to mean a lot more commitment from his side as well, and I think he just probably wasn't ready for that. Um, but anyway, that's kind of like in the past now. So
It
um,
happens. It's almost kind of a natural thing in bands.
yeah, yeah. So then, I mean, we came up with the band name Iron Kingdom, and then kind of started to go as hard as we could, try to get on tours and book our own shows out of town and stuff like that. That's when we found Kenny, our guitar player at that time, and that lineup kind of stuck until about 2016,
Okay.
kind of around there. And then at that point, uh, we kind of went through a couple lineup changes with drummers, um, until we got to our lineup for On the Hunt with Megan joining on guitar, replacing Kenny, and then we had Chris Sonia on drums, replacing Amanda at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I mean, it just keeps on going from there. And then Chris left, and now we have Max, and it's a messy story.
Fair enough. However the dream stays alive, it doesn't matter, right?
Well, yeah, I know it's good to be around good people, and I think generally we've been pretty lucky. Pretty much everybody who's been in the group has been good for the time they've been in the group. So
Totally. That's super important to like really connect with the people that you're sharing a band with and stuff like that.
yeah.
It's also very cool. My lead singer and I, we've known each other since elementary school as well.
Oh, no way. That's
Yeah.
that's wicked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, pretty funny.
Well, I think it's kind of neat because like it doesn't happen for everyone like that, but I think it is kind of cool when you can build a bond at an age like that because you kind of build a dream together in a way.
Yeah,
Uh,
totally.
and you kind of have a vision that you both kind of understand because you're so young that you're very excited about what this vision is, so you're sharing it all the time. You know,
Yeah.
um, yeah. So I think it's kind of cool. You can kind of create some really cool bonds. I think early on, and if it sticks, like like yourself and myself with my bass player, I think it can be like a lifelong kind of journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so where do you guys kind of derive influence for the sound? Who do you guys who do you guys all listen to? Or I guess you mainly.
Well, I mean, it's been. I can share a little bit from the other perspectives as well,
Sweet.
but I know like throughout each album it's been a little different. So if we're talking about currently, I would probably say like I'm super inspired by bands like Sabotage. Uh, I mean, Iron Maiden's kind of like a, you kind of just know that.
Yeah.
And Judas Priest is pretty obvious as well. But I mean, those at this point are kind of more like in the background. They're not so much as like forefront influences anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've all that was like 10 years ago. Those bands were like the most important thing. And they're still fantastic bands, but I think we kind of look at a little bit more obscure stuff now to find something a little different,
Absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, so at least for myself, I know Sabotage is a big one recently, as well as like Saxon is always a killer band. I like some kind of progressive stuff though, so I'll get into Primal Fear is another good one. Gamma Ray, Halloween. I don't know, lots of power metal, lots of traditional metal. I know Doc.
What was after Gamma Ray there?
Oh, I said Gamma Ray, Primal Fear.
Power of Eden?
No, I was just saying lots of power metal.
Oh, I see.
Sorry, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, lots of traditional metal. I'm also into like Fates Warning a lot, like the early Fates Warning albums.
Okay. What's their style like?
Also progressive. Lots of like pretty high vocals. Progressive stuff. Like there's this one riff in one of their tunes, and it's like a 30 seconds before the riff repeats.
Okay.
And you're like you can't even really tell though, because there's like it's not even a fast riff. Like it just takes 30 seconds before the riff is done.
Whoa.
But like it's pretty sweet, and like Buddy's singing on top of it and just singing like strange notes and going all over the place. So yeah, it's like progressive metal, I guess, that band. But like early progressive.
Yeah. So is that sort of the direction you guys are wanting to go into?
Not necessarily. I like it a lot, and I find it interesting to listen to, and I think it comes through in our music at times.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not exactly the forefront of what we do. There's a lot of like heavy metal and even hard rock influences as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's fun to have that like head banging. You're sitting there with the beer and just rocking out. Like so we always try and think about the live show when we're writing.
Yeah, for sure.
And like part of it is like we want to have moments where the crowd can either sing along or I don't know if hopefully that's possible.
Yeah, right.
But also like where you're just headbanging out of control and you're like, this is so sick. Like that's I know we all enjoy that. When it's something that we want to see when we go to a show, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to see like Symphony X like playing all their crazy notes and stuff, and we all love that too. But it's like it's kind of hard to give much of a show when you're just going crazy the whole time musically, right? So yeah, we just try and find a good balance where there's sections of like Halloween guitar leads that are going crazy, and then there's other spots where it's just like a pretty simple riff.
Yeah,
like
and it grooves and yeah, totally.
Yeah. I can say as well, like just to kind of bring in some other influences that the band gets as well. I know that Megan is super into bands like Dokken as well. Okay. Judas Priest is a big one for her. So it's kind of funny because she'll get I wouldn't say really hair metal, but it's kind of like gets some of that like the hard rock kind of edge of like the early hair metal stuff, like
yeah.
But then also she'll mix in with a ton of like new bands as well, like Enforcer, for example. And I mean her sister used to be in the band Skullfist, for example. Um, but yeah, like stuff like that. So we're kind of all over the place. I know our drummer's super into, well, Neil Peart. We all love Rush,
Of
but
course, we're all Canadian, right?
yeah.
Rest in peace.
So yeah, I know, right? But
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, lots of classics. And
Did you guys get to uh did you get to see Rush before Neil Peart passed
yeah,
away?
yes.
Sweet.
I don't. I feel like I don't know if our drummer ever got to see Rush, but I know the rest of us definitely have. I'd have to
Oh
ask him.
no. How
Yeah,
sad would that be?
I know, right? I well, he may have. I can't quote that one, but I do know that the rest of us have seen Rush at least once, if not more.
Right. Yeah, I saw them at I think it was Rogers Arena back when the Snakes and Arrows tour took
Right,
place. Yeah.
right. I think I actually missed that show, but I went to see them in Seattle for the, what was it? It was like a time machine tour or something.
Okay. Just after?
It might have been just before.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think it might have been just. I'm not entirely sure on the timeline of that, but I do know. Yeah, they came a couple times. They came to Vancouver like twice, I think, when I could have gone, but I didn't actually make it to either of those shows. So I
Okay.
ended up going. Um, but totally worth it. Totally worth it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, they played some deep cuts when I went to see
Yeah,
them, so I was so happy. I couldn't
yeah,
believe it.
it's fantastic. They're fantastic live.
Yeah, I was so surprised. Like I knew they were like a really good band, and like I just didn't understand how like unreal they were until like they just play in front of you and you're like, wow, there's just three guys standing there just making all this noise. Like,
Yeah. What was it? La Villa Strangiata. When they play that one, you're just like, oh my, like, like how can you compete with that, man? It's so good.
yeah. Um did you play any instruments in high school? Any different instruments in high school?
um, I played bass guitar for the school band.
Did you?
Um, yeah, but it was kind of funny because none of the other people who played bass actually knew anything about playing any stringed instrument.
Okay.
So the teacher was so like into the trumpets and stuff, and then I
Oh,
And I was sitting there trying to explain to the other bass players how to play their instrument, and the teacher kept getting me in shit for it. And I was like, I don't understand. You're not teaching them anything, so somebody has to, like, you know.
that's
So we,
that's badass.
yeah, it was kind of funny. So I kind of teamed up with the percussionists there as well, and we just like would make fun of the teacher. It was great. It was great times.
Yeah, that's great. Um, yeah, so I played bass in bands in high school, but I played saxophone in high school.
Oh, okay, okay.
But
For
I
the
never,
school band.
yeah, for the school band, yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I wish I would have kept up with it, you know? It would
Uh
have been something interesting to add into metal nowadays.
yeah, 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 you never know. Do 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 do.
That's the bane
Yeah,
of their existence, dude. That's
totally.
that's that's their stairway to heaven.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, but yeah, I played around. I played around a little bit with drums on the side. Just you know, actually, funny enough, before my sister had taken up drums with the band, I showed her a couple things on the drums because she didn't know how to play yet, right?
Okay, okay.
So I knew a little bit at the time. I'm not claiming to know a lot. I knew a little bit.
Hmm.
So I kind of showed her the beginnings of it, and then I was like, "Okay, now you should get a teacher." But so I kind of dabbled a little bit with drums. I dabbled a little bit with bass. I actually didn't want to sing, funny enough. That was a little bit more forced on me. Not forced, but like, we did the whole who can sing better than everyone else kind of thing. And
Yeah.
then I just got picked and I was like, fine, okay. But we're finding a singer later, okay? you know,
Singers get all the attention, bro.
yeah, but I don't know. I just wanted to play guitar. I just want I wanted to be Malmsteen, that was it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
but but yeah, anyway, and then more recently, I picked up the violin, which didn't go very far, but I
No.
really want to learn. I really want to learn it, so I do have a violin.
Cool. Very cool. Is it plug-inable? Is it electric?
No, no, it's like the classical,
Cool.
totally classical. Yeah.
Did you
Uh,
take any lessons or anything?
no,
No,
I
just
just
kind
kind
of.
I watched a couple videos, tried to get a couple notes.
Mhm.
It was sounding pretty bad, but I think if I actually put the time in, I could probably work on it. It's something I'd like to do eventually.
Oh
You know.
yeah, dude. Yeah, yeah. Violin's badass.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty cool. Learn some Trans-Siberian Orchestra stuff, maybe. I don't know, but
So the stuff you guys are working on right now, are you guys working just towards a single EP album?
oh yeah, we always doing an album.
Sweet.
Yeah, we I know a few people who are kind of considering the whole releasing singles, a bunch of singles over the year and stuff, and I can see the benefit of it. I understand, but I'm really old school in my mentality.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see behind me over here. There's CDs on a shelf there.
Yeah,
It's
totally a record
you know
player.
yeah, exactly. So like I'm into all that kind of stuff, and I don't know. I don't download anything, to be honest. So for me, it's all about albums. It's all about you know I don't know, but I'm also a musician, and so it makes sense to me. Um,
You guys are on
I don't.
Spotify, right?
We are, yeah. We're
Yeah,
we're
so
on we're on those things, but we're like, um, to me, that's like we're just on it. It doesn't, you know.
you're just playing the devil's advocate at that point, right?
Well, you got it's 2022. You got to have your shit everywhere,
Totally.
but but we're pretty old school. Like we always write albums, and there's usually a flow, you know. So if you listen to one song, you're probably not really getting the full picture of what it is that we're creating.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm sure you can relate, but um, yeah, I don't know. There's like little intros, or maybe there's something in between some songs, or but usually there's some kind of theme or some kind of world that we've created around each album, and they're all a little bit different. Um, this one in particular kind of got interesting because I think COVID had affected it quite a bit because we wrote it all during COVID,
Okay.
and so I think this one has a bit of a darker vibe to it. Like, not, I don't know if I would necessarily say more evil, but just dark. Like, you can almost feel that it was written in COVID, but like I think it's really cool though how that affected it kind of. But yeah, there's some heavier topics, I guess, and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's gonna affect a lot of the musical art that comes out. Any of the art that comes out through COVID, I'm sure it'll be
Mhm.
a little bit darker, maybe a little more twisted.
Yeah, could be, yeah, and maybe that'll be a positive sign for metal too, right? Because
Totally.
when people are kind of not feeling the greatest or whatever, sometimes they tend to find darker, heavier things,
Hmm.
and so there could be a bit of a heavier revival for metal soon,
I think
maybe.
so. If
Yeah, that'd be fun.
especially if things open up and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, I hopefully soon.
Yeah. You guys are in
Hopefully,
Vancouver?
that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. What's yeah, I mean we're in Kelowna, so
Right.
things are closed, right? Are you guys playing
hmm
shows? You guys aren't playing shows, right?
The last show we played was with Unleash the Archers at the Rickshaw in November.
Damn, that's super cool, dude.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was a good time.
We interviewed Unleash the Archers for our documentary this past summer.
Oh, wicked, wicked.
Yeah, yeah. They are some dope people.
Yeah, no, definitely. We've played shows with them for the last 10 years, like just randomly here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Like they played our third album release party, and we played some other show at that. Like it's just kind of been we're both kind of power metal. We're both kind of, you know what I mean. We're in that realm, so
Totally.
uh, kind of just end up on bills every now and again, and it's super fun. We've always got along. So
Cool. Very cool. Um. So, how do you guys find navigating social media?
uh, always learning. There's always something different. I To be honest with you, I don't think we ever know what's going on.
It's
um,
funny.
yeah, it's like if we had the money, I'd just hire someone to deal with it, because social media is like that's the last thing I want to do, man. you know, but sometimes it's fun, throw up a
Mhm.
picture, something silly or something, and just
Yeah, get
But
some funny comments going or something like that.
yeah, sometimes we just kind of play on, tease the album a little bit and get people stoked. It can be fun in those cases, but yeah, I think we probably could work on our social media world, but
Dude, it's so hard, right? And there's not many outlets for the content and stuff like that nowadays, so it's super tough.
yeah. But yeah, we're pretty much like Facebook, Instagram. Those are probably the main ones for us. Um, there's probably plenty that we're just like missing the boat on, but
Yeah, yeah, TikTok, and I think there's even a new one out there, Getter or something like that.
get her.
Get her, get her done.
Get her. Yeah, that's good. That's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, right. It's so hard to keep up with it nowadays.
We should
Like,
just make a new one.
right? Yeah.
We should make a new one called Sender.
Sender. Totally.
just chug, just chug a beer and then play some music and then chug another beer. I'm just kidding.
All the videos are the exact same.
Yeah, good. It's themed. You know what's gonna happen,
Totally.
and by the end of it, the musician can't play anymore. It'd be fun.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And he's incapacitated.
Yeah.
So what kind of hobbies do you have outside of music?
Uh, I I like woodwork. Sometimes when it doesn't become a pain.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um, uh, I mean, in the year 2022, it's kind of hard not to play some video games sometimes.
Oh
So,
yeah.
so I've been playing a bit of Halo lately.
Nice.
Pretty.
How is it?
It's pretty cool. I don't actually have I play on Xbox, and I don't actually have Xbox Live or anything.
Okay.
So, but the new Halo, they allow you, if you just have Wi-Fi, to connect to the server.
Oh cool.
So they don't actually ask for the fee for the month or whatever. So I'm like, cool, I'll join in on that. So unfortunately, that's been kind of addicting.
Absolutely, no worries.
Part of the reason I didn't pay for the subscription before, but
Right?
I mean, you gotta have fun. So
Totally. Um so I guess what are you guys gonna try to accomplish in like the next year and a half, 2 years?
um, well, I guess part of that is obviously reliant on restrictions, and some of our plan is going to go through regardless. But some things, like obviously for us, we're a touring band. We kind of lived to hit the road.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, it's kind of like we're anxiously awaiting, the ability to get back out there. But at the same time, I don't know if you've had any attempts at trying to book any shows out of town, but it's weird out there right now. The booking agents are like, let's wait until things are done. and then we'll book. And then the promoters and the venues, if they've even made it through, they're hesitant for their, for reasons we all understand as well. But, when I used to be able to book maybe 10 shows in a, short period of time, but now I can only get maybe 4 out of what I could used to get 10. Right. So it's interesting. It's kind of odd. We're going to try and do some touring, if we can, assuming that, at least most restrictions are lifted, because, we want people to be able to show up. We don't want to sell out a venue and make $100 to sell out the venue. Like, that's not going to be enough fuel to get us to the next town. So,
right. Yeah.
So, I mean, things are a bit up in the air, but I know the album is probably our top priority right now. Kind of trying to wrap it up, get it into, mixing and mastering soon, and then figure out a release date and get that all sorted. So
sweet.
That's definitely on the horizon for us. And then I guess COVID will tell us, one way or the other, what the rest of the plans are going to be. But right now we're booked to play. We're booked to play a few festivals, but only one of them right now is announced, and that's Hyperspace.
Okay.
In Vancouver. So we're booked to headline the Friday night show at Funky's. They're doing the first day there.
Okay.
I think it's almost 2. So, but yeah, so that one, and then we have a couple more festivals after that, but they haven't been announced yet.
Okay.
And yeah, and then I guess, I mean, like any other band these days, we're probably going to just try and get back to writing as soon as the album's finished. So,
yeah,
because as far as we know, we may just, who knows, right? Touring may not happen, so we may end up just doing a record, right?
Yeah. I mean, the next variant comes out, Megatron 33 or whatever, and it shuts down Canada forever or whatever.
Oh man, it's frustrating, and I think, like, we don't have to go heavy into the topic, but unless you want to, of course. But
no, it's okay.
But I think, like, as a whole, I think everyone's really frustrated, regardless of opinions on and where you stand on the topic. But I feel like everyone across the board, everyone's frustrated, and kind of be nice if people kind of saw that a little bit more in each other. Like, we're all in it together, but instead people seem to be dividing, and it's a little, it's frustrating. So
yeah, we're in the same boat. We're talking to lots of bands in the United States and such, and it's nice seeing them being open for shows and stuff like that. Yeah, it's super nice seeing it.
And I think no, I agree. I think soon, hopefully logically, but soon, I'm hoping that things will be lifted for us as well.
Yeah, logically, safely, all that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. So hopefully that'll come soon.
Yeah, absolutely. So if there was one thing about the music industry that you would change, what's one thing that you'd change about the music industry?
Well, I mean, there's a couple that come to mind. Trying to pick one. I think, like, it's not. I don't even know if it's really the music industry, but it's maybe the consumer side of things. I kind of wish that I like MP3s, in the sense that I like the idea that I can carry a lot of music in a small package, right? Like, that's it's convenient when you're on the bus or whatever, and you're going to work, and you just want to listen to whatever. I get it.
Hmm.
Um, but I kind of wish that it never turned into digital. Like, I almost wish that it was more of like you bought the album, you downloaded the album from your own device, and nobody else had access to that. In a way, like I
Yeah.
feel like that hurt the music industry. I understand this is a huge argument that has gone on since digital music,
Right.
but I just feel a little bit like had it never been a thing, I think the music industry would be thriving a lot better. I understand you get more, you can get some hype where maybe you couldn't have gotten it, previously. I get some of that stuff, but I still, I still believe that having a physical copy of an album, it commits you that much more to the group, I think. And I don't know. There's just lots to it. Like you got a cover, you got the artwork, you got lyrics on the inside. Sometimes there's photos. They might share a couple stories in there about the album, or
Yeah, you get to
you
know the
know,
band a little bit, right?
yeah. And I just feel like it's the society that we live in right now is a bit disconnected. I think
Hmm.
everything's so easily attained. Everything's so and the convenience is nice, and I'm not going to say that it isn't, but I just think that you know I don't know. I think it would be kind of cool if there was a way to have both worlds, but yet I don't know. Somehow people just weren't downloading stuff. I don't know. I think that that's the biggest struggle as a musician is you just don't make those album sales.
Yeah. It's so tough, right? You're giving away your music free nowadays in hopes that you'll gain a super fan and that they'll buy your merchandise or whatever, right? Or they will shell out the extra money to buy your physical copies
Right.
if you're
And,
fortunate enough to get some
and
EPs and CDs and stuff.
right. And there's plenty of people that are obviously willing to make those purchases, and that's fantastic. But it's just I guess it's the general consumer is they I think they take music for granted. I think, and I think digital music may have helped make that easy to do,
Hmm.
maybe. Because you're not like once again, like I understand the argument can go both ways. I totally get that. But it's kind of cool to just like walk into a record store, pick up a CD. You just think the cover looks cool or something, and you just pick it up and you're like, I don't even know what this is gonna be. And you walk home and you listen to it and you're like, dude, this is sick. And then you show your buddy, then they go pick it up. And like I like that mentality. I think it's really fun. I used to do that as a kid all the time. Like I didn't even know what YouTube was. You know, I I learned about YouTube when I was in like grade 11 or something.
Okay,
Like
okay.
so like and it was around for years before that, and I didn't even know it existed. So I just would go to HMV or whatever and buy music and be like, dude, this album's scary looking. Like the number of the beast. What the heck, man? You
Yeah, right.
know?
Yeah, you have no idea what's going to be on the other side of it and you're just like, "Okay, here we go."
Yeah, totally. And then like I was usually pretty happily surprised. So I
Yeah.
mean that's how I found out about 3 Inches of Blood that way. I picked up one of their records because I thought the cover was cool. It had like some dudes holding axes or whatever. I forget the name of it, something with anguish in it, I think. But
Hmm.
anyway, yeah, like you just give it a shot, and I don't know, it's fun.
I heard 3 Inches of Blood for the first time, I guess just last year or whatever, and
Cool.
they were so much different than what I thought they were going to be.
Isn't that weird? Like I thought so too, because when I was growing up, I'd heard the name,
Hmm.
and it came across to me as like some kind of hardcore
Death
or
metal,
like
crazy black metal band or
some,
something like that.
yeah, something kind of extreme, maybe like something very extreme, and maybe some of the early stuff had a bit more of those qualities, but like definitely the last 3 or 4 albums, I think they're like if you like Saxon or Accept or something, you'd probably dig it. So you know it's kind of cool. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I was so surprised. I was like, oh, this is cool. I asked my coworker or whatever after he put them on, and he's like, oh, this is 3 inches of blood, and I was like, I was not expecting you to say that.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I dig it. Yeah.
So yeah, just before we wrap up here, is there anything you want to say to the fans before we wrap her up?
Yeah, I mean, always keep it steel. And I mean, it's been a rough couple of years. I think, I'm really hoping that when live music comes back, it comes back with a vengeance, and I think it will. And just keep your heads up. We're almost out, I think. So
Absolutely. I think people are craving it, right? The live music
yeah,
will it'll make a very definite resurgence.
yeah, I think so. And I mean, like, I think I'd mentioned this earlier, but like we played the one show with Unleash the Archers,
Mhm.
and we also played Loud as Hell and Drumheller,
Ooh,
and
nice.
both yeah, and both shows were just like you could feel the energy off the crowd. Just they just wanted it so bad, and it kind of I think it helped with all of us too to be like, this is totally worth it, you know. Even if there's only a couple shows, it's totally worth it.
Right. Just getting to play again, just be super fucking loud and have fun.
Totally.
All right, dude.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me on the show, and
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming and telling the story and everything. It was a lot of fun.
yeah, no, absolutely, it's great, great getting to do this. So thank you again, and yeah, maybe we'll see you some other time then.
Awesome. Peace out.
Keep it steel.